When I decided to take this job, I knew, they had a real chance to win the championship if we put in a lot of work and, you know, did the right things. We were definitely capable of getting there and winning. So, put a lot of time into that, a lot of prep work, a lot of research, a lot of preparation. It's doing whatever we could for the girls.
I was kind of hesitant with everything at first because it was pretty like a whole new team entirely for most part, and obviously we had new coaching staff, so I was kind of scared and a little doubtful going in, but obviously I was still in it to win it. I wanted to go and just play my heart out because it was my last year.
1 year ago, Arbor View stood yards away from the top, only to watch Coronado snatch the glory away. A season defined by dominance ended in heartbreak. The Aggies never lost their determination, just shifted it into something sharper. And now, the only thing that matters is redemption.
So watching my team on the sidelines battle all the way to the end and come up short, it ignited like a spark in me where like that passion it drove me through this season. And
that's what family means. That's what We Before Me is. There's nobody that's better than football than this team in this division, okay? And we're gonna show them next week.
The journey back began with change. A new coaching staff, a new system, a new identity. The Aggies had to adjust, learning to trust the process, play fast, think faster, and execute with discipline. Early wins showed flashes of what was possible, moments where it clicked, but nothing came easily. Every step forward came with lessons. Every mistake had a price. Then came the preseason tournament, and with it, reality. Losses to Virgin Valley, Bishop Gorman, and Shadow Ridge exposed cracks in the foundation. Missed tackles, dropped balls, silent sidelines. The weight of expectations started pressing down. For the first time, they looked unsure. That's when the coaches stepped in, not with schemes, but with reminders that championship teams don't just dominate, they evolve.
I think that preseason tournament really showed us that even though we did lose, we won big games, and we had the capability of winning those big games. We just had to execute and be a team.
And Arbor View stood their ground. The second half of the season was different. The noise quieted, the game slowed down, they found their rhythm, and the defense locked in. Disruptive and disciplined. The offense? Unstoppable. The Aggies began overwhelming teams with pace, power, and precision. With every snap, their identity took shape. With every win, confidence surged. Led by a relentless core, Jada Emile, Daniel Morales, and Caitlin Foss, the Aggies started looking like contenders again, not just chasing redemption, but ready to seize it.
Well, Jada would do anything for this team. She was the heart of the Aggies this year, award winner. And all she wanted to do was win, and she would make sure she was here every day. She would be a leader vocally. Danielle is more of a leader by showing her hard work. She doesn't talk a lot. She just leads by example, straight example, just hard work at practice, always be at practice, always do your job on the field. And Kaylin is definitely somebody that motivates people, and people just like to be around her, and they see what she's doing and they want to do it.
January 17th, a game that was circled on every calendar, Arbor View versus Coronado, the rematch. With both teams at the apex of their strength, the Aggies came into the matchup undefeated in league play and hungry for revenge after the last-minute state title loss from last year.
That mental preparation for that game, I think going through those previous games and keep telling them, I'm not worried about this, I'm worried about Coronado. Like those tournaments, like those losses were just stepping stones. And that Coronado game was what we were really focused on.
This time, Arbor View didn't blink as they made a statement against the Cougars on their home field, running away with a 25-19 victory and proving to the rest of the league that the Aggies were back and ready to win.
I think it was a big boost of confidence to our entire team. Just knowing that we were capable of beating the state championship winners from last year, it just really helped us, motivate us through the rest of the season. Then there was also a sign of relief almost that we actually did it, and our coaches' emotions were high. And I just think after that final whistle blew, we finally knew that we could do it.
But being Coronado, it wasn't enough. The real test was yet to come, the playoffs, where the pressure separates the top teams from everyone else. Legacy put up a fight, but in the end, never stood a chance, falling to a dominant Aggie performance in which they put up 50-plus points for the first time all season in a 53-15 victory. In their toughest postseason test yet, the Aggies welcomed the Mojave Rattlers to their home turf. In the first half, the Aggies struggled to move the ball as Mojave's defense came with a game plan focused on shutting down the team's strengths. However, despite taking an early lead, the Rattlers would eventually succumb to Arbor's overwhelming rushing attack spearheaded by Danny Morales. In the end, the Aggies would prevail, winning 30-12 and heading to their second straight state title tilt.
I think it was just, convincing them what they've done to this point, the teams they've beaten and who was left. And I would constantly tell them, no one can play better than you guys in this division. And they've believed it and they bought into it and they were. And I would tell them, there's not a 4A team that's better than you, and I still think that.
I want this championship for you more than you know, okay? It's gonna be a great experience either way, but I want you guys leaving there on top.
Stay humble.
No, this was way harder than it should have been for us. And I don't know if it's nerves or what, but stepping into Allegiant Stadium,
Oh my God.
I'm telling you right now, it's gonna look big,
And cheerleaders.
but tonight was the night that we're getting all of that badness, all of that sickness of bad play out of us. All right, we really need to get down.
Everybody's counting on him, all right? I am gonna do everything I can. Everything I can. I want you to give me everything you can. Do everything you can. If you're blocking, don't block and stop. Block them all the way down the field. That's how we're gonna score. All right? If you're going for a flag, don't just go, oh, Miranda's got it. Go get that flag. This is it.
7 people to the ball. Let's go.
This is it. We
Ken,
need
she's got like 3
everybody
flags
flying
on.
to the
Let's go.
ball.
3 sets of
Everybody
flags.
flying to the ball. All right? All right, let's get up and get ready to get out of here. Nobody leaves this locker room nervous. They're scared of us. A lot of them were nervous. Not only to play to be in the championship, but to be in the stadium. They were scared. I could tell they were scared. So my message to them was, we're gonna go play football. This is what we're doing. And we shouldn't be nervous. They should be nervous. We're the big bad wolf, and we are the boogeyman, and they're scared of us. Yeah. That was the message we put across.
Honestly, I don't think there's any way to prepare. You just kind of go into it. You really don't know what to expect. Still thinking about it, it makes my stomach twist and turn. I feel those nerves that I felt walking out onto the field, and there's no correct preparation. I feel it's just you have to experience it to understand, if that makes sense.
The Aggies are determined to start it off strong. They knew that scoring first would give them the advantage they needed.
Everybody's hearts were racing out of their chest. It was like a crazy, weird feeling. And I think that we tried to handle the pressure, but the stage was almost too high that we couldn't handle it.
The Aggies pushed through the drive first after winning the toss. They pushed forward with all their might, but in the end, the Aggies were forced to hand the ball over. Behind the ball, the Aggies kept the pressure for the rest of the drive, forcing the offense to settle for a few yards of play. In the end, The Falcons pushed up the field and into the end zone. The Falcons have started with the lead.
Right after that score, we knew we had to get it back, and immediately after that play, we drove the ball down. Just knowing that it's going to be one of those games where it's back and forth the entire game was a lot, but we knew we could be in battle with them.
But the Aggies were not willing to stop there. Every single play, every single down, the ladies kept composed and scored, obtaining a lead in the second quarter, 7-6. Later on in the game, both teams had many runs of scoring, but both defenses were on lock, not allowing each other to gain yards on the field. Despite the hard-fought battle between the defenses, a little misstep in the defense caused Foothill to gain a lead early in the second quarter, 12-7. The Falcons were back on top. But the Aggies were not going to end the half being down. They pushed down the field, and with 4 minutes remaining, they scored, going into the half up 14-12.
Well, the halftime is really short. We don't have enough time that I would have liked to talk to them. It's really short, and by the time we get everybody together, and actually Foothill had run an illegal play to end the half, and they didn't throw a flag. They ran two forward passes in one play, and that was kind of frustrating. So I'm at it with the refs. I'm trying to get the girls together. We're winning 14-12. Everybody's getting water, and I'm like, we got to get together over here. And on top of that, it's almost impossible to hear in that stadium when on our sideline there's a band here, and the entire fan section is all on our sideline, and it's really hard to talk. Yeah, I try to get them as close as we can, and at that moment it still felt like we were behind. So my biggest point I was trying to get across to them is we're winning. We just need a score to put it away. Like, it felt like we were losing when we came off at halftime. It felt like we didn't have any momentum, but we were winning. And my message was, we need one to put it away, right? Keep playing defense. We're winning, all right? Keep remembering we're in the lead, all right? Do not get intimidated. We're in the lead. Let's finish the game. So
they knew what was on the line and gave it their all. Throughout the half, the ladies pushed past their limits, not allowing Foothill to gain a lead. The Aggies would not give up, but neither would the Falcons, pushing up the field with the game on the line. Fourth and goal from the 1-yard line. This play would decide who wins the state championship. The ball was snapped, the Falcons ran their routes, the Aggies covered their zones, but a little misstep led to the Falcons being open at the corner. The Falcons have scored, with only 1 minute remaining in the game.
So after the touchdown, I would say my mind went into, what are we going to do? I could feel the girls feeling like in their heads, the emotions was, we just lost. But immediately I'm like, what are we going to do right now? We still have about a minute to go. Like, this is the game plan. Get over here, get over here, get over here. While they're all just, they want to give up. They want to put their head down. But it's, what do we do next? Because that's always my plan, is not what just happened. It's now what? What do we do? So we came out with a couple plays, and the play to Danielle wasn't even the design play. Priscilla kind of just dumped it to her, and she made that happen like on her own. Yeah, and she was one flag pull away from scoring, which would have been amazing, but they got her flag. So we draw up another play where we were supposed to have a receiver hit the outside and get out of bounds, but we weren't able to complete that, so she dumped it to Danny again, which didn't work out that time, which left us with one play where we kind of had to take a deep shot with the rush. It was kind of, they're all backed up. We got one play to kind of get to the end zone, and came up just short. So
a last chance desperation drive was not enough. As the clock struck 0, the Aggies found themselves once again watching as another team celebrated a championship.
I felt devastated, man. I told the admin I put everything I had into helping these girls and getting there, and you know, when you do that, it really wipes you out. You know, I didn't really want to even talk about that game for a month or two after that. And I'm sure the girls felt the same way. You lose the state championship and a game that we should have won in so many plays that we didn't do what we could have. You know, it's hard, it's tough, it sucks.
As soon as they scored, I felt everything in my body go numb. I know that sounds like cringy, but I kid you not, I was like, I don't know, I just felt like we failed. And we didn't fail, but we lost, and it was just sad.
Despite the loss, the Aggies are proud of what they have accomplished, while also making friends and family on the way. Playing at Allegiant Stadium was a highlight of their career that they took in stride. The Aggies made history and, in the end, cemented their legacy at Arbor View.
Flag football has changed my life for the better. I never thought I'd be here. Being able to experience such a crazy thing like playing in Allegiant Stadium. The sport is growing, and I'm just happy to be a part of its roots, you know, because it's still a fresh sport.
I think the young girls we have are going to join into what we already have, and they're going to be good. I think, you know, we'll be just as good next year. It's just going to kind of be adapting to the rules. So, you know, even though we're moving to 5A, I'm confident that we can finish well.
I'm definitely coming back. I would definitely never quit on this team because flag has become an outlet and a family for me. And I think next year we have the same goal we have this year, win a state championship. And although the stakes might be a little higher, it's still our end goal.
Aggies on me, Aggies on 3. 1, 2, 3, Aggies!